Oh my gosh. My cousin Lo just is there from Alaska.
I am Debbie Huntsman, and we've got a great show tonight. Thank you to Gulf Coast Bank and Trust Company for their 2024 conference support. Their motto is the bank that cares about you, and they really do. And Bryant is our guest host again tonight. This is not your first rodeo.
Not my first rodeo.
So, and tell us about yourself kind of in a nutshell. I can't describe you.
First came to working with the National Women's Sailing Association back when we did a series of weekly events with a panel of former and current crew members of Maiden during the pandemic. And Maiden was actually kind of grounded. And so we were thinking, how can we inspire people to make sure that Maiden can still be achieving her goals as a boat, as a foundation? And the Maiden Factor actually was planning a circumnavigation now that they're doing. But to get the boat through that period of time, we actually did these weekly events with the National Women's Sailing Association and with Women Who Sail, which is a very large Facebook group. But I'm a wooden boat person, but I'm also a cruiser. I was an editor at Wooden Boat magazine for about 4 years. I have worked for a few different YouTube channels, and now I work for Lowell's Boat Shop, which is the oldest boat building shop in the United States. I'm their content creator, and also have my own channel called From Pine to Palm. And I just released my first video about a month ago, and there's going to be a new video this weekend. I have a 96% male viewer rate. So it would be really amazing to have, I know that YouTube isn't sharing boat-related content with women, because if they did look at my stuff, they might subscribe. It's early goings, but I do think that we all need to be kind of very present in the YouTube space. But that's who I am. I'm a storyteller who finds a way to make a living telling stories about all kinds of boats and the interesting people who are in and around them. So this is Adventure Sail, and we wanted everybody to know about the 2024 programs. Help make sailing more accessible to young women from ages 9 to 14. All girls deserve the opportunity to learn and to love sailing the way that we do. And you can become a host. There's an application link that we'll put in the chat. And hope you have a look at that if it's possible for you to host a young sailor. This is your opportunity as an adult woman to make sure that somebody else is helped up and into sailing.
There is Lili Colby. I own one of your life jackets that you designed with 2 pockets, which I thought was awesome. And it's old and very, very well used. So I know that you had some really nice.
We got fancy there with the 2 pockets.
The 2 pockets was it was my favorite thing. I couldn't resist it when I saw a 2-pocket life jacket that wasn't real bulky. But you sold that to Mustang Survival.
We did, my husband and I. Yes, that was our COVID adventure, selling our company to Mustang Survival at the beginning of COVID. We didn't know it was the beginning of COVID at that point, but yeah, in 2020.
Well, one thing that I think is really exciting is Lili will be a presenter for an International Safety at Sea seminar for women in Milwaukee on Friday, May 17th. She's going to be a real asset to the safety at sea process.
Okay, well, thank you, Debbie. Thank you, Anne, and to all the sea sailors out there of the National Women's Sailing Association. This is such a cool thing. I really want to thank you for having this storytelling session. It's fun to hear other women's experiences. We can do hard things. We can survive capsizes and person overboards. And, I'm excited to share my little story about my new home office in a lighthouse. So New Hampshire has the shortest coastline in the United States. It's just 18 miles. It's very historic, 18 miles. A lot of revolutionary battles, very rocky, but the state only has 5 navigational aid lighthouses, which is puny compared to Maine and Massachusetts. So there are 2 on the coast. There's the Isle of Shoals Lighthouse, which is also known as the Portsmouth Lighthouse. It was 1877. Anybody out there sailed past this one? All right, Anne's got a thumbs up. So and then there are 3 on Lake Sunapee, which is 80 miles inland. So 2 on the coast, which makes sense, and 3 on a freshwater lake 80 miles inland, which is like, wow. So there's Herrick Cove, Loon Island, and Brookhaven. So this is Herrick Cove, built in 1893, and the other 2 look a lot very similar. And you can see the slopes of Mount Sunapee in the background. Great skiing, boating. But why does Lake Sunapee have 3 lighthouses? Why doesn't Winnipesaukee have lighthouses? They're a big old lake. Oh, I see people in the audience laughing. So the reason why is because Lake Sunapee was a very popular lake for the Victorians. So they built these lighthouses in the 1880s to the 1930s. It was the era of steamboats and grand hotels, most of the grand hotels which have burned down. Charming summer cottages that lined the rocky shores, and hence the lighthouses, because Lake Sunapee is really rocky. And pictured here is a dinner boat that goes around Lake Sunapee. It's actually just retired last summer because it got a little too old. And then this summer cottage, and my relatives who might be viewing tonight will recognize this. This is the Colby summer cottage. It was built around 1897. It's still in the family. There's the old picture with the Bella Vista sign on the front. And we had some cousins from England come over and restore the sign a couple years ago, and it looks beautiful. And the dock is where my husband and I got married. So Lake Sunapee is a special place for us. We're sailors. We sail around the lake a lot, canoe too. And we knew the lighthouses on the lake, but we did not know that there is in fact a 6th lighthouse in New Hampshire, which is in fact close to Lake Sunapee, 5 miles from Lake Sunapee. It's called the Newport Light. So there's Newport, New Hampshire, about 5 miles away from Lake Sunapee. And that picture on the side there shows our little sailboat. I'm from the Wisconsin area, from Pewaukee, Wisconsin originally. I'm a scow girl. And we have a really nice little day sailor. It's a Vanguard Nomad. It's 17 feet, and it's got a bowsprit and a little spinnaker, and it's fun to sail. It's got a centerboard and a tiller, and that's my happy place. So we knew about the lighthouses, but we didn't know about my lighthouse, which is the Newport Light. It is complete with a catwalk, a spiral staircase, and a working Fresnel lens. But it's not a navigational light. It's so far from Lake Sunapee. It simply casts its light over a sea of woods and old stone walls and the backside of Mount Sunapee. So way off to the far side of the screen, the mountains, is Mount Sunapee. You can see just the top runs. Beautiful view from the lighthouse. This is it. So it was built by Alan McGuire in 2015. The Newport Light is a 32-foot tall, 3-story replica of a Nova Scotia pepper pot. So Alan and his wife were coastal cruiser sailors. They loved visiting lighthouses along the eastern seaboard. And when they wanted to build a workshop, they chose to build a lighthouse. So the picture on this slide is actually Fort Amherst near St. John's, Newfoundland. I got to go there in September for the Canadian Safe Boating Council Symposium that was there. I'm the first American to serve on their board, which is fun. And I was hiking on the bluffs above St. John's. For some of you coastal cruisers, maybe you know exactly this lighthouse. And I saw it across the way and I'm like, oh my God, that's just like my lighthouse. It's a pepper pot. So I took a picture of it. So if you want to know how you could build your own lighthouse, you could buy Alan McGuire's book. He wrote a book about building his lighthouse, and it's called A Lighthouse on the Top of the Hill in the Middle of Nowhere, How I Built a Lighthouse. It's available on Amazon. And this photo is, there's Gordon, my husband. It was taken in June 2023. At that point, like, so this time last year, we had no idea we were going to move. And this was our first visit to our future new home and our lighthouse. Because we fell in love with the lighthouse. And 4 months later, in October, we bought it and moved in. So we thought it was the perfect place to have our offices. Gordon and I both work for Mustang Survival. It's a Canadian company that has been engineering life-saving solutions for mariners for over 55 years. Now, when Debbie said, hey, I think you should do a sea story about your lighthouse, I thought I was going to be doing it from the lighthouse. I'm going to give you a quick tour of the lighthouse, and hopefully this little video will work. And if not, I'll just tell you. We lost most of our snow this week.
Ate the creative and created. So I should be walking through, I don't know, 3 feet of snow right now. The very mild March. So this is walking from our house. And the lighthouse. This is networking. Like life jacket certification work of some sort. On the 2nd floor. What? First floor. So what? On it.
It was messy. I should have cleaned it up more. All right, I can't believe that worked. That's amazing. Next slide. So I thought I was going to be there, but I'm not. Right now, I am at the Mustang Survival World Headquarters in Vancouver, Canada. There's a 3-hour time zone difference, so it's around 6 o'clock here, 6:20, whatever. And this is what it looks like right now, pretty much, with blossoms everywhere. Vancouver's famous for the blossoming trees. And I'm upstairs. I'm talking to you from that 2nd floor right now. And it's a great location. There's manufacturing here, design, customer service, finance team is here, marketing, the engineering team. And it's really, really cool to be here. So I'm giving you a little insight. There's the Water Life Studio and our Innovation Center. So there's literally next to the manufacturing floor on the 2nd floor, there's a small pool. It's a square pool. It's really deep. And we can test dry suits in it, and we can test flotation. Scientists testing all sorts of ways of, about hypothermia, and it's pretty crazy. It's like James Bond Q. It's really cool. And when you come here, one of the things that they do is, welcome to the Seahorse family. You get tanked. You got on a dry suit. You get dunked in the tank. And that's me in my first getting tanked in 2021. And if you look in the water, there is a little rubber ducky floating in the water. And there's Gordon in his dry suit. He's about to get tanked. So my job at Mustang is really amazing. I get to go to Toronto Boat Show and to St. John's and tour the Coast Guard station there, and to Newport and make new friends, and to Annapolis. And, but it's all sort of about casting a light on safety. So I'm going to bring it right back to the lighthouse at this time. So lighthouses help us navigate the water safely. I love my job at Mustang Survival because I get to talk about safety every day. We've got the world's best products for the world's best reason, which is helping to save lives on mariners. And so that's a light that I like to shine out to boaters, and I do love trying to bring that to people. So dress right for the water, wear your life jacket, and be like Cole and just go for it. Be safe. That's my story.